Hey there, and welcome back to another recap of the Content Capitalist Podcast interviews. Now, my guest on this show is an internet marketing OG. That means he's been doing this for over 20 years, if you can even remember that. Now, the reason this is interesting is because he is one of the leading authorities. He's helped to actually have clients who are NBA teams. He's had, banks, national banks all over the US, even international. And get this, he was actually asked by TikTok to write the definitive guide on using the TikTok ads platform. That is the level of authority that he's got in the internet marketing space. So you're going to want to keep watching.
The Content Capitalist Podcast.
Do you remember when you first started actually publishing video or audio of yourself for the mainstream public to see?
I was a digital marketer in Austin. You know who they are. And we taught a full day workshop and Ryan Dice was there. And I was talking about how do you do Facebook for $1 a day? Because I've been an ads guy. I've spent $1 billion on ads. And it was the day before they shut down for COVID. I think it was like March 20 something. And Ryan Dice told me that afternoon as we were shutting down, he said, we're closing the office and I'm going to make all of our training at Digital Marketer free. And the office didn't open up for another like year or something like that, a long time. We were the last to teach there. And I flew back on the plane that night and I thought, everything's getting canceled. I had 8 keynotes that were canceled. Can you imagine like flying to all these cool places and they're going to pay you all this money to speak? It's a dream. And it all got canceled. So we were doing these Zoom calls or whatever. So I thought, okay, well, I need to be on video. And I didn't have the benefit of a Ken Okazaki. I didn't have a GoBox. I didn't have, pro knowledge. So I just went to Amazon and I bought lots and lots of stuff. And I was messing around with cameras and microphones and lights and weird sorts of things. I even documented it part of the way. And I realized, actually this Zoom thing's kind of fun because I get to meet lots of cool people. And of course, we all got overwhelmed with like 8 Zoom calls a day. You remember, right? When the COVID thing happened, people would be like professional on top and pajamas underneath. And then in the United States, because the US wasn't shut down, people like Jake Paul reached out to me. And because they weren't traveling and touring and doing concerts, they were available. So I spent most of 2020 and 2021 flying around and doing videos with high-level people that otherwise would not be available.
Have you ever suffered or experienced something called imposter syndrome? I know I have. So when I got him on my show, I got to ask him, like, what do you do? Because he speaks on big stages all over the world. He presents in front of thousands of people. And he shared a simple strategy that if you use it, it'll really work. So if imposter syndrome is a reality for you, you're going to want to watch this section especially. Did you ever face an issue with imposter syndrome?
Every day. I'm around people who are better in so many different ways. So I just don't compare anymore. So the way I overcome it is I don't even think about me and my hair and how I sound and whether I'm going to look like a fool. I'm always thinking about how do I contribute the most value? How do I extract the most learnings? How do I make them look good? So I consider myself like an emergency room surgeon and I'm trying to help as much as I can. And if I have blood on me or things are a little bit messy or my hair is frizzled, I'm not worried about that. Here's the thing to understand about imposter syndrome, which is the same as public speaking. When you have stage fright, that is selfish, right? Selfishness only happens when you're thinking about yourself, about how people might perceive you, about running out of words. I'm not thinking about trying to be as clever as possible for you, Ken, right? I'm trying to answer these questions as helpfully and as thoughtfully as I can, as honestly, which may or may not come out good. Maybe I stumble a little bit, but if you're focused on helping other people, you're not thinking about yourself. Therefore, there can be no fear and there can be no stage fright. I spoke at a conference a month ago in Pakistan, which had 30,000 people. It was Future Fest. The president was there. All these other people were there. And not once did I have any kind of stage fright. I'm not thinking about how I look or how I feel or the slides. We had some AV issues, but if you're a pro speaker, you're never worried about that because you're thinking, how do I accomplish my mission? My mission is to create 1 million jobs for people who are making $500 a month full time doing digital marketing. And I went to this conference in Pakistan to help make that happen, to collaborate with these other industry leaders. And I'm hanging out with the CTO of the country, with the top entrepreneur in terms of, the largest entrepreneur group on the planet. and other people who are way, way, way more successful, but they wanted to collaborate with me. And we all have the same mission to create jobs to empower Pakistan. So why not? If you're a speaker at a conference, or if you're being invited to a podcast or whatever it might be, they're doing it because they automatically pre-assume that you are awesome. I wish I knew this when I did my first live TV thing a few years ago. I was on CNN and it was in front of 3.5 million people live, and they were asking me all these questions, and I was afraid that I had to be some kind of expert. And the host, who was Anderson Cooper's counterpart, George Howell, he said, you don't need to recite your accomplishments. You don't need to sound super smart or anything like that, because being on CNN, they automatically assume, people watching assume that you're a pro. Yeah. So just answer the questions in sound bites. Try to keep it 15, 30 seconds maximum. And I thought, oh, I didn't know that. Anyone who has imposter syndrome, it's because you were sabotaging yourself. You're second guessing your expertise. If you were invited to speak or to be on someone's podcast or teach or be on a Zoom, everyone there is pre-assuming that you're an expert. All the people in the audience, for example, they're there to learn. So don't worry about your ego or your hair or things like this. Try to deliver I know it sounds cheesy, try to deliver as much value as possible.
You know, I've met a lot of people who are professional speakers and have decades of experience, but I'll tell you what, Dennis is one of the best when it comes to humble bragging, talking about the success he's had in his past and his clients in such an elegant way. So if nothing else, when you watch this next part, observe how he humble brags about his successes without being over the top about it. I think that's an amazing skill. So of course the content he's going to share is amazing, but also observe that skillful humble brag.
You know, we got this ever changing landscape of social media, and TikTok since the year, it was like 18, it's just started going up, and now it's, dominating as the most visited site and platform globally. What do you say about this platform, and how are you leveraging it as far as yourself or for your clients?
Well, first off, I have the #1 best-selling book in social media on Amazon. And it happens to be called The Definitive Guide to TikTok Advertising. And TikTok reached out to me. ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, reached out to me a couple of years ago saying, hey, we know you're super well known in Facebook ads. Would you be willing to teach on, if you're a Facebook advertiser, how do you shift over into TikTok? And I said, why, sure. Makes a lot of sense. And there's a lot of similarities, but you can't just repurpose content from Facebook over.
Okay, let's go deep into that. What's the nuances here?
Nuance is you need to create content in the app. You will get penalized for repurposing. You have to create, because obviously, just like Twitter has fallen down because it allows people to just use bots to, be lazy. So same thing Instagram said with Reels, because that's their now, competitor to TikTok. They said, if you try to re-upload TikTok content into Instagram, we're going to hurt your reach. Of course, right? You can't drive into a Toyota dealership with a Honda. Don't do that, right? So they want people to create content natively, which I have a way around that. But basically, you create a series of 15 to 22 seconds is like the sweet spots for service businesses. For e-com, it's maybe 7 to 10 seconds. But 22
Are you talking about
seconds,
paid ads or organic reach type of content?
I'm talking about a video.
Yeah.
Paid or not.
Okay.
You make these little videos that are entertaining. Here's one tip on how to do this one thing, right? Did you know this? Such and such should be illegal because, just one little thing. And people like me, because I'm over 40, I suffer from what's called rambling old man syndrome. And I've interviewed top TikTokers, and they tell me you've got to get right to the point. Boom. The opening hook in the first 2 seconds, right to the point, call to action. And you can make those videos, of course, if you have a great face, if you're shiny and charismatic like Ken. But if you're not, here's the thing that TikTok did that people don't understand. You can boost other people's posts, and that's called a Spark ad. Facebook had this with the branded content tools, part of Business Manager, but it's hard to use. Anybody, a customer, a partner, an influencer, whatever, who has made a TikTok that you like, they can give you the access code to that particular post, and you can boost it from your account. You don't even have to be on TikTok. You boost it from your ad account. You don't have to have a TikTok account. So that's how you can win as a brand, where let's say you're a plumbing.
So you're saying that video, if it somehow promotes what you're doing, or does it even have to be related?
It doesn't have to.
So why would you boost something that's not related to your business?
Because people have to know, like, and trust you. So let's say that you're Tommy Mello and you run A1 Garage, and you've got lots and lots of trucks in cities across the United States that fix garage doors, right? You could make ads about, hey, are you looking for a new garage door? Or if you want a garage door, come to A1 Garage. Like, okay, yeah, that's an advertisement. 20% off your installation or something like that. Or let's say in Phoenix, you interview the head coach of the NFL football team and ask him, hey, what's your favorite restaurant? And it's interesting. And he gives some funny, you can see there's moments of fun, right? And then you see Tommy and he's wearing his A1 Garage shirt. That creates a nice association. The beauty is you can, on TikTok, you have to sell without making it look like you're selling. So you sell with the authority of who your relationships are and of your vibe. Or you could look at my friend Chris Cano, who runs Aligned Mortgage. And what do? Mortgages for veterans, right? We have our armed forces. And did you know that the government provides you with benefits? If you served in the military honorably, they'll help you get a loan, and the government does all sorts of special things, which I don't understand how the VA loan works, but most soldiers don't know that either. Even when you're still active in the military and you have no credit, like the government will help you with the mortgage, right? Like, how cool is that? So what Chris does is he interviews all these different soldiers who have been in all kinds of cool situations where they're telling their story, talking about their family, talking about how they got injured, talking about how they went on this crazy SEAL mission kind of thing. Super entertaining, right? And this is what's driven them to be, I think they did $2 billion last year. And they've done it by telling stories.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and you know the drill. Because you watched to the end, that proves to me that there was something of value in here that you enjoyed. So go ahead and hit subscribe, because every single week we have new episodes coming out, and we're going to have recaps just like this. You're not going to want to miss it, because this is real people making real millions of dollars, sharing their real strategies that are working right now, and also warning you on the things that don't work. So hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.